You know, we all trust the trackers on our wrists to count our steps, check our heart rate, monitor our sleep. It's totally normal. But what happens when that same technology stops tracking our bodies and starts tracking our thoughts? And no, this isn't science fiction anymore. We're about to dive into the new frontier of brain data, and you're gonna wanna know what it means for you. And look, don't mistake this for some far-off future. The watch on your wrist right now is basically a medical-grade device. I mean, a huge meta-analysis found that consumer wearables can spot a serious heart condition, atrial fibrillation, with over 95% specificity. That's incredible. It's a powerful health monitor hiding in plain sight. So if it can read your heart with that much accuracy, what's next? And that right there is the million-dollar question. If this tech can monitor the super complex workings of your heart, what happens when we point it at your brain? All of a sudden, we're not talking about your health anymore. We're talking about your focus, your concentration, your productivity. This is that exact moment where a really helpful tool could become a really creepy tool of surveillance. So how in the world do we get from tracking steps to tracking brain waves? Well, to get a handle on that, we need to talk about the technology that's making it all possible. Welcome to the world of brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs for short. A brain-computer interface, or BCI, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It creates a direct line, a bridge, really, between the electrical signals firing away inside your brain and some kind of outside device, like a computer. Now, this isn't some mystical mind-reading stuff. It's literally about translating the brain's raw electrical chatter into data that a machine can actually understand and use. And you're probably picturing some kind of invasive brain surgery, right? Well, nope. What you're looking at here is a simple EEG cap. It just uses these little sensors placed right on your scalp to pick up the brain's electrical signals. Because it's a non-invasive BCI, the barrier to using this kind of technology is getting lower and lower every single day. And EEG is just one way to do it. There are actually a bunch of ways to listen in on the brain without ever going inside. You've got MEG, which measures the teeny tiny magnetic fields our neurons create, or NIRS, which uses light to track blood flow. The point is, this is a seriously booming field with a ton of different ways to tackle the same challenge: understanding the brain in real time. Okay, so we've got this powerful, surprisingly accessible technology, but what happens when it leaves the research lab and enters the place you probably spend a third of your life, your job? Yeah, this is where things get really, really complicated. So to really explore the ethics here, researchers came up with this hypothetical scenario. And this quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of it. Just imagine, your boss, let's call him Mr. Smith, makes wearing a brain monitoring helmet mandatory just to measure your concentration. It's a direct pipeline from your brain to your annual performance review. And you can totally see the two sides of this coin, right? From an employer's point of view, the promise is huge. A device that could detect when a surgeon or a pilot is getting tired, that could literally save lives. But for the employee, this is constant, inescapable surveillance, and it opens the door to a terrifying new idea: neurodiscrimination. Imagine being judged or even fired, not for the work you do, but for your brainwave patterns. And this is where the screw really turns. In the scenario, the boss then says, okay, it's not mandatory, but anyone who agrees to wear it gets a 15% raise. Suddenly, voluntary doesn't feel so voluntary anymore, does it? This creates a two-tiered system where, let's be honest, financial pressure pretty much erases any real, meaningful choice. This whole crazy scenario really hangs on one fundamental question: who is in control of this unbelievably personal data? Who actually owns your thoughts, or at least the data that represents them? Well, the answer is probably not what you think. Here it is, the bombshell. In the same way you own your car or your house, you do not own your brain data. Legal scholars are pretty clear on this. The whole concept of property, it just doesn't apply here. It's not yours in that way. So this just shatters a huge misconception we all have. We think of our data as our property, right? Like it's a digital thing we own. But legally, that's not how it works at all. Your control doesn't come from ownership. Instead, it comes from this patchwork of different laws, each one designed to protect you in a different way. So what are your actual protections? Well, they come from laws like these. You've got confidentiality, like the kind you have with your doctor, data protection laws like GDPR, which put rules on how data can be used, and of course, the fine print of any contract you sign. See the pattern? All of these give you certain rights over your data, but none of them give you that simple, straightforward feeling of ownership. So, what we have is this crazy advanced technology on one hand, and a legal system that was just not built for it on the other. We're standing at a brand new frontier of privacy, and we have to decide right now what kind of future we want to build and what kind of guardrails we need to get there safely. And we absolutely have to get this right, because the potential benefits are, well, they're mind-blowing. Just imagine an astronaut sitting safely in a base on the moon, controlling a rover on the surface using only their mind. Think about what this means for medicine, for people with disabilities, for exploration. This is the amazing future we're trying to build, and we can't just shut the door on it. And we need to figure this out fast. These are predictions from the futurologist Ray Kurzweil. He thinks that by 2025, that's basically tomorrow, thought recognition will be a common way we interact with our devices. By 2030, direct brain-to-computer links. This isn't a slow crawl, it's moving at an absolutely exponential pace. The real question is, can our ethics and our laws possibly keep up? And so this is the question that we're left with. The technology is already here. It can, right now, read the electrical patterns of our thoughts. But the legal and ethical rulebook to manage this incredible power, it's still being written. So are our laws really ready to protect the very last frontier of privacy? Our own minds?
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.